Hi, this is Steve from yourcreativelife.com, talking today about one last aspect of being a writer on set. Now, I'm still here in Toronto. In Vancouver, not Toronto. The first show that I was ever on, which was Covert Affairs, was in Toronto. But here I am in Canada, in Vancouver, on the other side of the country, which is, very close to Los Angeles and in the same time zone as LA. And I've been here as the writer on set for the show that I work on, which is the new CBS show Tracker. And I've been talking about the notion of what it's like to be the writer on set. And I gave an overview in the last couple of videos, first about who else is on set, and second of all, about what the writer on set is responsible for. But I wanted to take a moment to create a short video to talk about how I do those things that a writer on set does. Because as I mentioned in the previous video, there's a lot of stuff that this covers and a lot of aspects that it covers. So here's what I do. Here's how it works. When I get to the set, and this is true for everybody, there is a call sheet and there are a list of scenes in order that we're going to do throughout the episode, and they jump all over in time for the episode because you're dealing with locations and you're going to do all the scenes that take place in a particular location at the same time before you move on to the next location, right? So we know all of this and we know where we're going to start and where we're going to end. And so what I like to do is a couple of things. Number one, I will get to set early and I will hang as best I can with the director. So that means that when the director arrives, pretty much is when I arrive, maybe a little bit, few minutes after, 15 minutes, whatever. And so I get there as people are planning stuff. When the director calls rehearsal, and the first assistant director will call for the actors, and the actors come on set, I will go with the director and be standing right beside the director with the actors, watching that first rehearsal, basically to sort of be there to answer any questions that may have happen that the actors may have and be there to respond to stuff. People might say, well, can I say this instead of that? Or people might say, I don't really understand what's going on here. Or why are we doing this? Or all of these decisions that directors certainly handle and that actors certainly bring are things that also can involve the writer. And I'm just there not to force an agenda, but just there to support an understanding of both the words and the actions. So I'm right there. And all of the other technicians who are going to light the space and do the makeup and do the special effects are a little bit out on the periphery. And this is a moment that, in normal film circles, if there's not a writer on set, would pretty much just be the actors and the director. But the writer on set, what I do is I'm right there with them to answer any questions and say, whatever, and of course I don't make it about me. It's really about those actors figuring out that scene, but I'm there as a resource. Then once that happens, sometimes the actors will come up to me afterwards for questions, or the director will, or something will happen that way, or a props person will, or whatever. Then I back up, I go to the space where, there's usually a space in what we call Video Village where the director sits and the script supervisor and the writer sits, and I watch the takes and see what happens. And sometimes what happens is the lines get sharper, they get more precise in terms of the script. Sometimes people start to, move off the script or do a little improv. And I'm really there to make sure that that's okay. Are we changing the story? Are they changing the meaning? Are they dropping something that's really important? If that's the case, I will lean over to the script supervisor and say, it would be really great. Can we get her to say this, this, this? Because that makes a difference from what she's saying. And the script supervisor will go and talk to the actor and ask the actor to be a little more precise with the language, and I'm there to do that. Some of the time I have an idea or a notion about how the scene might work a little bit better. And again, since I'm not the director, I will go to the director and I'll say, I think there's a moment where blah, 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 and I'm not really sure I'm seeing it happen. and the director and I will have some sort of conversation. Sometimes the director will like what's going on and will sort of disagree with my interpretation, which is certainly fine. And if I think that it works and it's not egregious, I can be certainly fine with that. But I always give the director this opportunity then to take my suggestion. And if he's like, oh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense, he or she or they may go up to the actors and make some sort of adjustment to make sure that the story is told in a particular way. So this is essentially what I'm doing all day, every day while I'm on set, is coming in, going with the director up to the actors, being there in that first rehearsal, watching the takes, making notes, talking to either the script supervisor or to the director about some things that either might want to change or tighten, or simply saying to them like, thumbs up, really great. And then being there as a resource so that occasionally an actor might come up to me, or a props person or somebody else might come up and have a question that's directly related to the script. And then I can be there to answer that. And if there are things that I can't answer that are very important script-wise, I'm calling my showrunner to find out what he, she, or they thinks ought to happen or ought to be the interpretation in this particular instance. That's the way it works every day, all day, every day. So I hope that makes sense to you. If you have any questions at all, please leave the questions in the comment section below. Uh, Tune in to this channel. I make brand new videos every single week. There are over 100 videos on this site. Please like and subscribe and check out yourcreativelife.com, which is the hub from which I coach writers like you to improve your creative lives. You can also subscribe to my newsletter, listen to the podcast, and do so many other things with the resources on yourcreativelife.com. So glad you were here today to watch this video, and I will see you next time.